Good evening, James. Can you just confirm you're able to hear us?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Are you able to hear me?
Wonderful. Yes, we can hear you in the chambers. Just for your awareness, you are the second delegation this evening. So once we've done that delegation, we'll invite you to share your screen. If you have any public-facing materials, if not, we'll just invite you to speak at that point.
All right, thank you.
Good evening. I will call the regular meeting of council back to order at 6:30 p.m. First of all, the town of Smithers acknowledges the Gitumden clan and the Wet'suwet'en people on whose unceded traditional territory we live, work, and play. Also, the public is notified that the meeting is being recorded and webcast globally, a notice of which has been placed on the bulletin board outside the council chambers. I have something to read. Statement regarding the adoption of tonight's agenda. At the request of the proponent and on the advice of town staff, the public opportunity and staff report respecting a development variance permit for 1841 Princess Street will be postponed until January 2026. We encourage interested members of the community to watch for public notices issued on the Town of Smithers Facebook page and on Town of Smithers website, www.smithers.ca. Letters submitted to the council will be included and considered at a future public meeting. We thank all those who came to this evening's meeting to address this item and invite you to make representatives to council at a future time. Therefore, council, I will move that council vary the agenda to remove items 7.2 and 14.4 respecting a development variance permit for 1841 Princess Street, and that council approve the agenda as amended. Councilor Raven seconds. All those in favor? It's carried unanimously. And first up tonight, we have a delegation from Tourism Smithers, which is why I'm chairing. The mayor has recused herself.
Good evening, everyone. It's kind of a privilege being here. I've been here once or twice. I think that the two or three issues that prior to our presentation on what we did this year, I think it's important that we look back and understand that the MRDT tax is one of the few taxes that the actual collectors have the option to cancel the tax on all but 5 municipalities of the 60 people collecting it. It's unique because the hotel industry went to the government and said, we need a system to ensure we have funds in the marketplace to promote BC. And over a number of years, that negotiation went on. It was finally adopted in 87, and we started to collect it in 83. I think it's also important to note that one of the 8 founders was the town of Smithers. And I think it just shows how over the years we have been a leader in both promoting northern tourism and the effect that Smithers and the people here have had on the development of this program over a number of years. Other than that, I think we've had another excellent year, and we have a couple of our most important people here to present it, Gladys and Jake. And with that, I'll turn it over to them. Thank you.
Thanks, Al. Thanks everyone for the opportunity to be here. It feels funny sitting on this side, but I'm really delighted to have an opportunity to talk about the work of Tourism Smithers and to have a chance to talk about the highlights of the past year. So with me is Jake Daly, and not here is Sandra Smith, and we're sort of the triumvirate of folks working to deliver the programs for Tourism Smithers. So I do
Sorry-
want to,
Sorry to interrupt. Al, can you shut your mic off? Just,
okay, and then Jake and I will go back and forth, but so you need to turn that on. It's your turn. Okay. So I just wanted to thank Al and acknowledge the long time that Al has spent working with tourism and Tourism Smithers. It's decades, and it's decades of hard work and dedication and passion for the industry. So it's with much gratitude that I'm here with Al. And we're really just going to talk about the highlights of the year. And we know that you have a copy of the presentation, so we might skip over some and you'll have a chance to look at it at your leisure. But I wanted to talk about the other members of the board. So I'm on next page. Thanks, Jill. So we have Al with us, but acknowledging the other people who make up the board of Tourism Smithers. And I'm going to name them, but you'll see the businesses or entities that they're a part of. So Blaine Estby, Kira Westby, Wendy Perry, Colin Bateman, Ben Heemskirk, Mo Kafer, Lex Reed Jones, Sheena Miller, Daniela Bork, and Trevor Dirksen. And they represent a pretty nice cross-section of tourism businesses and agencies that offer tourism product, and provincial government who also works with programs and tourism product, recreation product. So it's a great board, and we're really proud to be able to work with them. And I'll give kudos as well to Jake, who's with me, and Sandra, who is graphic designer extraordinaire. We benefit from her talents, and she has offered her talents to Tourism Smithers for a long time. And you're going to hear a lot about collaboration and partnership. We have the joy as well of supporting local talent in our community. There's a depth of writers, photographers, content creators who we bring under the fold with Tourism Smithers, as well as the tourism sector, the guides, the outfitters, the tourism businesses, and the not-for-profits that deliver tourism product for us. Next slide, Jill, thank you. So I'll reference MRDT, as it's known now, Municipal Regional District Tax. That is the visitor paid hotel tax. It's at 3%. It has been in Smithers since 2017. And we got there with hotelier support, a must, as Al referenced. It is our major KPI, or key performance indicator, on how we're doing. So this is our 2-year glance. And in the previous document that was circulated to you, you can see how hotel tax has grown over the decades. And just a quick look at where we're targeting our money. We work within an ecosystem, and I'm going to go there next. But the target markets for Tourism Smithers start fairly close to home in Northern British Columbia, then other BC and Alberta, other Canada, and then US Pacific Northwest. Next one. Partnerships, collaboration, that is the heart of what we do. So this is kind of referred to as the tourism ecosystem. And if I start with Destination British Columbia, who is the provincial destination marketing or management organization, it'll work up the food chain with Destination Canada, so promoting Canada and the provinces throughout the world. DBC works with Destination Canada to promote to specific places, California, Asia, and parts of Europe. And then I'm going to skip to the Northern BC Tourism Association, our regional DMO. We are a member and work closely with them to promote our region to other parts of BC and specific parts of Canada. We are a community destination marketing or management organization, and we work with our colleagues across the region and the province. We're also a founding member of the British Columbia Destination Marketing Organizations Association, and we are a member of the Tourism Industry Association of BC. And they are the advocate for us. They're the people that carry the issues, that work delivering the issues up to the Ministry of Tourism, Arts, Culture, and Sport. I'm just kind of getting into the fun stuff. I'm going to take one page and then Jake gets most of it. Just in what we do. So consumer shows and events. We work with other DMOs. This sort of continues on the theme of partnership and collaboration. So we attend these shows and events with others. We work with DMOs across Northern BC and particularly Northwest. From Prince Rupert to Prince George, we work together, pooling resources to take the message of visit Northern BC, Northwest BC, and then we'll hone it down to the Bulkley Valley and Smithers after that to attend these events. We also support the sector by working with Northern BC Tourism Conference as a presenter. we're supporting, and it's an opportunity to shine the star on where we are from as well, demonstrating what we do. And locally, just sort of highlighting a couple of things, we support the Tourism Excellence Award, and we provide support as well to the annual Business and Excellence Awards and the VIBE program. So collaboration and working with others is key to what we do. Jake. There you go.
Okay, I'll try and skip along, give a brief overview, maybe touch on a couple points in each slide, and then I'll let you dig into it on your own. The first thing we'll talk about, earned media highlights. This should almost go at the end because, as Gladys puts it, it's kind of like getting an award for amazing things that are already happening in your community. But that said, work goes into connecting the newsworthy stories that happen here with media outlets across the province, across the country, and around the world. And so that's the role that Tourism Smithers plays. Next slide. Business support. So 3 years ago, kind of cool. I've been here for 3 years. That's we heard that the downtown business community was struggling. And so we launched 2 programs. One is, the first one is Shop Smithers, and it's a media marketing support program where we throw our marketing efforts behind the downtown business community. And one highlight is we've done individual features on 16 downtown businesses and counting, and more to come this season. Ski and Stay. This is kind of a cool program because it's been running for over 20 years. And each year, there's new creative ways that we work through this program to bring more skiers, snowboarders, families to the town to adventure and enjoy the winter activities. And yeah. Silver Dollars. This is the second project that we launched to support the downtown core. It's essentially a local business-focused gift card program. And it's in its 3rd season also. Most notably, it's injected over $15,000 directly into the cash registers of downtown businesses, and that's not including this year. So we'll see what we can do. And I'll acknowledge also that the town of Smithers has been helping us with $1,000 that we use to do promotional efforts for it. And so thank you. Events. Events is a huge sort of segment that we focus our marketing efforts on. Great community events brings people to town. And so Tourism Smithers has developed a kind of like multi-channel strategy around supporting annually reoccurring events and the coordinators and teams of coordinators that make them happen.
On community support, back to the collaboration and working with others, we acknowledge the work of not-for-profits actually creates some of the tourism product that visitors rely on. And so in some cases, we're able to offer some support back to the not-for-profits that create really cool stuff. So BBSS, Smithers Mountain Bike Association, and they actually support us hosting media and providing guiding services. So we work collaboratively with them. And then of course, with the Chamber, with the Pride Society sponsoring an event, and through BV Exhibition is an example of where we would support through the purchase of advertising. And for all organizations, we're always keen to offer letters of support for their enterprises.
I'm sensing the end is near, so I'll go fast. The website. I want to touch on the website because Sandra, who's not here, is behind the website. It's all of the other marketing stuff we do at the top of funnel is to get people dreaming about a trip to Smithers, but when they're ready to plan their trip, they dig into the website. This is where they find things to do. This is where they find itineraries and events that are happening specifically when they're in town. And we've heard time and time again from industry leaders that Smithers, Tourism Smithers and Smithers has one of the best, most comprehensive community tourism websites in the province. So it's something to be proud of. Social media marketing is one of the avenues we use to deploy all the content that we create. We've been increasing focus on it this year with the cadence and the amount of content that we're creating and putting out, 1,000+ stories, 250+ kind of hard posts, and the increase in efforts has resulted in an increase in audience growth and engagement. So fun to see. All kinds of fun marketing campaigns to talk about and events. I'll kind of let you dig into them on your own. I was going to brag about the Arc'teryx Northern Backcountry Connection, but there's just so much stuff going on. We can't talk about it in 10 minutes.
Okay, Jake has stopped because we're timing ourselves and we know we're over 10 minutes. So apologies for that. I'm going to tell you the Arc'teryx thing is super cool. It was, I just have to. It's working with a brand, with the RDMO, with local businesses, and this is a multi-year relationship where they come here, and this is shared with Terrace, the two areas, the backcountry ski areas. We work together to drive some really cool traffic. This included a contest where someone who'd never heard of these places was here from Ontario. We worked with Air Canada. This was super cool project. And now I'm going to have to take Jake's lead and skip the rest. There's cool stuff in here. We're happy to take your questions. And we're super proud and really pumped about what we've done for a long time. And we're happy to talk about it longer anytime you want to, but over to you.
Council, any questions? Councilor Patterson.
Thank you so much. I'd be amiss not to ask you questions while you're here, but just it's going to be a bit of a large question. So apologies if it's for sort of a later date, but just recognizing how much tourism contributes to our local economy. Are there any sort of like, I don't know how to describe it, quick wins or things that you think municipalities could do to help to support tourism writ large, I guess, in our community?
I think recognizing it as a sector, you know, I appreciate the demands on council for recognizing various sectors. Tourism is a really big contributor to the provincial economy and GDP. It's on our list to actually update our value numbers. But tourism in British Columbia, if I've got my numbers right, is about a $13 billion contributor. It's a really significant sector. And I think it's often undervalued. So just recognizing that when we're tourists, we're playing and having fun. To the sector, it's business, and they work really hard at delivering good product. And so it's a serious sector that contributes a lot. And it's hard for us to recognize it as a business versus a plaything, because when we're a tourist, it's super fun, but the businesses work hard. So I would say that's the one message, is just recognize it as a really valued sector.
I'll also add that at the bottom of the Tourism Smithers website, you can check out the society information. And if you're not already signed up as a stakeholder, you can sign up there. That's where that will allow you to get updates and also invites to stakeholder events, which we're hoping to throw another one early 2026, where we can have longer conversations and get into more ideas, because it's a small team and a relatively small budget. But outside of the paid work, there's a lot of volunteer and there's a lot of community ambassadors and basically everyone that's passionate about this community and wants to see us develop tourism in a responsible way is encouraged to make your voice be heard. And I know you already have a lot of time constraints and a lot of obligations, but an event like the stakeholder events would be something that'd be great to see if you're interested in talking about helping or even just ideas.
Councilor Raven.
Just a quick comment. I really value what you have done on social media. I was actually down in Vancouver, and the video that's up there, somebody mentioned, when I mentioned I was from Smithers, and they were like, oh, we saw this really cool video, and they watched this video and they actually came up for a week based on this video. So they never went to the website, but they saw this one video on like random social media and they were like, oh, what's this Smithers place? Cool. So I think that even though you have the stats and everything for your socials, which is fantastic, I would say that the reach is even further. So it's just really neat. You guys have captured the best of Smithers and have put it out there for the world. Yeah, thank you so much for all you do.
Thanks, Councilor Raven. And since Ms. Barrowman's put it up there, if you have the patience for another minute, this is really cool.
Yes.
I didn't get to kind of introduce this one, but one of the cool earned media things is that Tourism Smithers co-produced a story about winter sports and culture intersecting, and it ended up winning a journalistic award. So this was the video that went along with that written piece.
Thanks for that. That was awesome. I just want to say, I know I don't travel a lot, but anywhere I go in BC, everybody, when they ask where you're from and you say Smithers, they know where you are. You folks are a big part of it. There's other aspects to our community that contribute, but you folks are a big part of it and allow us to punch above our weight. So thanks a lot, and we'll look forward to your next update.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
We're just going to take a brief pause before we move to BC Housing to change chairs.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor Ray. Appreciate it. Appreciate the moment to get settled. And all good. Okay, I see you there, Mr. Weldon. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but welcome. We have you on screen and we have the slide. So I welcome you and turn this over to you.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me clearly and see the presentation?
Very clearly. You're sounding great.
Okay, thank you. So good evening to council and mayor. I'm tonight representing BC Housing. I'm actually JTW Consulting. We act as BC Housing's owner's agent and development consultant on various projects, Smithers being one of them. I'll go through some, I haven't got a large presentation. I'll go through some plans. I'll start with some background just to fill in some blank spaces. BC Housing proposed the supportive housing in 2023. That's when they initiated the potential development and provision of these services in Smithers. Subsequent from 2023, BC Housing's original concept was to develop up to 40 units of supportive housing. But after consulting engagement that's occurred in 2024, early 25, 20-bed shelter component was added to the development scheme. The community engagement has been conducted by BC Housing. It was undertook with multiple stakeholders, including local First Nations, Smithers Situation Table, the MP, the Town Corrections and Northern Health. So there's been a lot of input, a lot of notifications, discussions about what this project should provide, what it should look like, the services that are needed. So overall, I think it's going to result in a rounded, wholesome, supported building that should be an asset to Smithers. The site considerations, just to give you some background. So again, in 2024, BC Housing rezoned the site. They also subdivided and consolidated 3 lots to create the current development site. Several buildings, as you probably know, were remediated. There was lots of hazmat and demolished last year, spring, summer last year. So the site's now vacant, clear. The site does have many challenges. The ground conditions, as you probably again are aware, the high water table. So BC Housing have undertook designs to navigate these challenges. Also, because of the added 20 shelter units, the site became challenging just from a development perspective. So subsequent to that, as you probably noticed on the slide there, hydro lines that front Alfred and Queens will be removed and undergrounded as part of the overall development. And this also responds to concerns from the fire department in terms of, fighting provisions. So overall, taking the lines underground, although it's quite a considerable cost, I think enhances the project and gives the fire department some assurances that they'll be able to deal with any fires at the building. Now, programming. So again, to clarify, originally it was for up to 40 units of supported housing. The current development consists of 40 units of supported housing and 20 shelter beds. Programming in the building will be provided in the form of supported housing with non-clinical support, life skills, education, employment, those kind of things, skills to guide them into those kind of opportunities. And there's exterior amenities, so there's communal spaces in the buildings, communal spaces on the exterior. So to foster interactions and stability and interactions between the various tenants, the building's been designed with those in mind. The building will be 24-hour staff. There'll be outreach workers, and they'll be visiting support consultants in the forms of health supports, not clinical supports, health supports in terms of Northern Health will be providing those outreach supports. The tenant profile. So obviously this building is aimed at tenants who are currently homeless, at risk of homeless, and who would benefit from stable and semi-independent housing. Semi-independent in the fact that the units are considered self-contained. The 40 units of supportive housing, they are self-contained. They're not dormitory style. They include their own bathrooms and their own kitchen. However, a 3-meal a day program will be provided to tenants through a commercial kitchen and a communal dining area. I will just scroll down so you can put some context to this. Well, here's the ground floor. I'll just zoom. So the shelter dorms will accommodate 4 occupants per room. So we've got the 5 dorms here, which will be 4 bunk bed type accommodation, housing 20 occupants. The shelter and supportive housing tenants will have separate entrances, support areas and exterior amenities. So we have the entrance off Queens here for the shelter. We have shelter supports, reception, consulting rooms, harm reduction rooms. And then we have the main supportive housing shelter entrance coming off Alfred here. So this kind of line delineates shelter component versus the supportive housing component. There will be one shared common kitchen. However, there will be separate dining amenities, shelter components, and the supportive housing tenants. There's supportive for this bike storage, the scooter storage. Scooters are needed because they're compromised tenants who may not necessarily be not fully ambulatory, but they still need kind of like supports to get around and interact outside the community and outside the building and into the community. There'll be common laundry facilities. I'm not sure if Council O'Mara has any experience with supportive housing, but these are just typical supports, typical programming that's in these types of things. Moving on, operations. So operationally, well, go to the second floor. This is second floor and third floor of the supportive housing units. As you can see, there's relatively small units. They have a small kitchen, their own bathroom, and a living room. The studio units, basically. They'll have washing facilities, laundry on each floor. And then basically the second and third floor will be the supportive housing unit. Operations. So Smithers and Community Services Association have been selected by BC Housing, and they will provide operational services with support from BC Housing. So I'm not sure if that was council and Mo was aware of that, but that's been determined that Housing Society will operate the building design, as I think the kind of initial sketch shows, earth tones, natural materials. The design was done with input from town staff, planning staff, basically meeting the guidelines, the DP requirements. In terms of exterior amenities, sorry for flicking around here, but in terms of exterior amenities, they'll have smoking areas, recreation areas. There could be further development in terms of garden beds, but the site is very tight. So we are a little bit limited in terms of what we would typically do. There's a shelter amenity area where tenants can mingle and congregate. There's a smoking shelter. Parking provisions are provided as described in the the text that's been provided in the council report. Accessibility. There will be EV stations. There'll be 2 EV stations that'll be on the project. There'll be a bed bug facility as well, which hopefully can get utilized by the community at large. Then, in terms of schedule, so BC Housing have another, a community information session planned for spring 2026. That'll be basically providing all the stakeholders the situations table and anyone at large an update on the design, the building, the current status of the project. Construction is we're targeting fall 2026 with occupancy late 2027, 28. That's the kind of target schedule. Engagement timing. So just to finish off on engagement, BC Housing issued a letter, I think on November the 27th, just providing a general update to the residents within 200 meters of the building, just so everyone's aware within the immediate proximity of the development. I believe that kind of sums up my presentation this evening. If there's any questions, please let me know.
Thanks, Mr. Weldon. I'll just look to the table. Council, any questions for the delegation? Councillor Patterson.
Thank you, Worship. Thank you so much for the presentation. It looks fabulous. I'm very, very excited to see this come to fruition for our community. And apologies, I wasn't sure if I heard you correctly, but did you say that BC Housing did find an operator for the facility?
Yeah, so the operator has been awarded, and that was selected and awarded is Smithers Community Services.
Thank you very much.
Any other councillors? I just have one, and that relates to just the schedule. Perhaps it's not a question, but a desire that it kind of go as fast as it can. It feels like I'm also looking forward to this project. I think it's something that the community needs, and the timeline has taken a little longer than what I would have anticipated when we began. So that's just a sentiment. Perhaps there's no way that you can respond to that. But I definitely appreciate the presentation and being brought up to date on where you're going. Yeah, I don't think I have any other comments as well. One more glance around the table. Okay. Thank you very much for spending your time with us this evening and for sharing the update. It's much appreciated.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Good evening. Bye-bye.
Okay. 1 minute here. Okay, where we're at is item 6 on the agenda. This is the public comment period. So if anyone in the gallery wanted to speak to something that's on the agenda tonight, this is your moment. There's a 3-minute time afforded if you wanted to speak to something on the agenda. Okay, I'm seeing the nose back there. That's fine. And then we are at, I am lost. We are at 7:1. Just give me a second. Just give me a moment. We're just missing one statement. Okay, thanks, Mr. Allen, for supplying that. I appreciate it. Okay, so next up is public hearing. And just bear with me, I have to read this. This public hearing is convened in accordance with the Local Government Act to allow the public to make representations to council regarding 2 proposed bylaws for property located between Alfred and First Avenue and Alberta and Vancouver Street, and legally described as lots 1 to 48 in blocks 51 and 61, Plan PRP 1054, District Lot 1053, Range 5, Coast Range 5, Land District 5289. The purpose of the 2 Town of Smithers initiated bylaws is to permit a 216-bed long-term care and assisted living facility to be built on the land. Bylaw number 2000, Town of Smithers Official Community Plan Bylaw 1935, Amendment number 25-01 to redesignate from low density residential, parks, open spaces, and trails to institutional. And number 2, bylaw number 2001, Town of Smithers zoning bylaw number 1987, amendment number 25-2, to rezone the property from LDR-1, low density residential zone, to P2 or public use 2 zone. Before I call for speakers, there are a couple of procedural points I need to review. Any one of you present who believes your interest to be affected by the proposed bylaws will be given an opportunity to be heard by council. No one will be discouraged or prevented from making their views known. However, please restrict your comments to the content of the proposed bylaw. If you would like to speak, come to the delegation table and begin by stating your name and address. Members of council may ask you questions following your presentation. However, the function of council at this public hearing is to listen rather than to debate the merits of the proposed bylaw. After the public hearing is closed, council may, without further notice, adopt or defeat the bylaws or alter and then adopt the bylaws. Council's discussion regarding the proposed bylaws will occur under section 16 of this evening's council agenda. At this point, I'll call for submissions for bylaws 2000 and 2001. Were there any letters received, Mr. Schroll?
Thank you, Mayor Rachel. There were no pieces of correspondence received.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to call. I don't remember if I've called already, so I'm going to call for the first time. If anyone would like to speak to the bylaws, I will call 2 more times. If anyone would like to speak to the bylaws, I invite you to the delegation table. And for the 3rd and final time, if anyone would like to speak to the bylaws, please come forward. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed at 7:08. Thank you. I'll just leave that for Mr. Allen. Okay. And now we're going to go to 7.3, which is the public opportunity for the variance application for 3879 Alfred Avenue. Does this require full reading?
Sure.
Okay, bear with me. I'm going to read some more. Okay. This is a public opportunity to speak and is convened in accordance with the community charter to allow the public to make representations to council regarding development permit with variance application D25-07 for 3879 Alfred Avenue. The town of Smithers has received a form and character development permit with variance application for 3879 Alfred Avenue. BC Housing, the applicant's proposal is to build the facility that contains 40 supportive housing units and 20 emergency shelter beds. Due to space constraints, the proposed design does not meet the minimum bike storage requirements established by section 2.10.4 of the Town of Smithers zoning bylaw. Hence, the applicant's request is to approve the two following variances as part of the DP application submitted to the town. Reduce the total number of on-bike storage spaces required from 40 to 35, and B, permit 14 of the proposed 35 bike storage spaces to be of the Class 2 category instead of requiring all bike storage spaces to meet the Class 1 standards. Those present who believe that your interest in property is affected by the proposed development permit are provided this opportunity to be heard. Comments are welcome, and if anyone would like to speak to that, I will invite you to the delegation table. Okay, I'm not seeing anything, and so we don't have to officially record the time on this. It's an opportunity. Okay, going to move on. You can practice hearing me reading. Okay, so where we are, council, now is minutes. So section 8, first up, 8.1, the minutes from November 21st for approval, please. Councillor Buchan and Councillor Ray. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried unanimously. 8.2, special open from November 17th. Councillor Raven, Councillor Elliott. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. And 8.3, committee of the whole from November 18th. Councillor Raven, Councillor Elliott. Errors or omissions? All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. Mr. Schroeder, anything to be released to the public?
Not this evening, your worship.
Okay, thank you. Okay, council reports. First up, Councillor Buchanan.
Thanks, Mayor Ettrell. Last week, I had an opportunity to meet with Eric West, the new pool manager. Kind of a long overdue meeting. He's settling in nicely to his new position at the pool and into the community. We had a chance just to talk about the pool finances, about future expansion plans at the pool, and also just kind of the unique relationship where both regional district and town are involved in the pool. So it was good to meet him and put a name to a face. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Buchanan. Councillor Elliott.
Thank you, Mayor. On December 3rd, I got to attend basically a visioning session with Faulkner Browns, the consultant hired to look at our new library and the development of it. It was open to the staff and the board. It was a very good 2-hour session where some brainstorming took place and some dreaming took place. I mean, as part of the consultation process going forward. It was very informative and very enlightening, and to hear some different people's perspectives about what they envision the library being. I'm not a staff member, but a lot of the staff has some really great ideas, and I hope that some of them come to fruition in the future. And that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Elliott. And Councillor Ray.
Yeah, I hope I have the dates right, but I believe that the public consultation on Engage Smithers is now open. So anybody that has thoughts on, pardon me, thoughts on the library can go to engagesmithers.ca, I think. And you have about a month to get your thoughts in on the library, and there will be other opportunities as well, but this is your first opportunity as a member of the public. And I believe it's also asking about potential future uses of the old library building as well.
Engage.smithers.ca.
Thanks, Mr. Schroeder, and thanks, Councillor Ray. That's a great opportunity to remind people. We have regrets from Councillor Leonard this evening. Councillor Patterson.
Thank you, Your Worship. you'll see that there wasn't quorum for the community safety and wellbeing committee, and I just wanted to apologize to our delegation who came. There was a number of us I know who were ill, but I also attended the inaugural Bulkley Valley Forest Level Landscape Planning Community Stakeholder Engagement Table. Whew, that is a government table name. And it went really, really well. There was a number of individuals that we would likely all recognize from previous roles. So very well attended and yeah, just exciting opportunity. And then there was also planned the Bulkley Valley Lakes Airshed Management Committee, and that has just been rescheduled. So yeah, I'll forward on those notes once the committee's gathered again. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Patterson. Councillor Raven, and with permission, she is donning her Santa hat.
'Tis the season. So I submitted my report, and I'll just touch on a couple things quickly. So the holiday soiree for the Smithers Chamber of Commerce was held at a new venue this year. It was at the Festival of Trees at Glacier Toyota, and it was a fantastic fundraiser. So just highlighting the work of our Child Development Center. So their region stretches through the valley all the way up to Atlin. So they actually do provide some support services all the way up Highway 37. So this is their main fundraiser. So it's just good to hear about their work. And I know my kids have used the center before, but it's just a good reminder, like as your kids age, there's still everyone else that needs some assistance. That was wonderful. There was the Jingle and Mingle 100 Women Who Care event on December the 4th. And the group was able to support 3 wonderful local kind of organizations. One was the Buddy Up program, which is supporting seniors. They had funding for last year, and we were able to give some money to help them be able to run through next year. Then there was also some local women that are part of the Days for Girls program. And that's an international program where they provide menstrual products for girls that don't normally have access to it. And the fact that those girls often miss educational opportunities because of that. So there are some women that are making some local products that are changing lives. And then there was a local person that is battling cancer, and they were the ones that got kind of the top billing. So it's just a really neat time to just remember what the season's about, to get together with a bunch of women and just, yeah, do what we can to make things a little bit brighter. And thank you to Councillor Way for attending the APC for me. I was unable to attend, so I appreciate that.
Thanks, Councillor Raven. Councillor Ray.
It's a good segue. I have the minutes for the Advisory Planning Commission. There's 2 bolded motions, one of which will be delayed till January 2026, but the other one's later on. And I just wanted to also thank staff for the quick response to Mr. Law's concern about the RCMP being a voting member. I was very impressed at how quickly you got that turned around. So thank you for that. And then I also have a motion to make. I will move the council direct staff to report to council options to remove rescue mission from the list of permitted principal uses in the C1A downtown commercial zone, thus requiring council approval process prior to establishing the use in the future.
Thanks, Councillor Ray. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Buckham seconds.
Yeah, so, you know, I don't know if people really believe us, but it was a surprise to council. BC Housing didn't follow their path the way they should have. I think sometimes when things are in zoning bylaws and other bylaws, we expect cooperation from people that were in there, and you know, nothing against the society. I think they're pretty new. It's pretty amazing that they got together what they did get together. But I think it's just a heads up that in the future, this is a very political issue, and it needs to come to council before it's established anywhere else in town. So staff gave me the heads up that there are a couple of ways that we could approach this, so we'll see that in the report.
Thanks, Councillor Ray. Any other comments from council? Councillor Patterson.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you to Councillor Ray for bringing this forward. I just want to say it's unfortunate that I feel that this is where we're at, and that choosing my words lightly, but I just feel that we can't trust the process. As it stands, I would have assumed that we would have had more consultation and engagement from the provincial government, but I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt. So whilst we might also advocate for process improvements for future projects, I do hope that this helps to support successful integration of any institution that wants to support vulnerable populations in the future, and not to be perceived as being sort of like an authoritarian position, but really just to ensure, again, successful integration into the community, including how we can support people as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Patterson. All right, I don't see any hands ready to vote. All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried unanimously. Thanks, Councillor. Anything else from you? Okay. Under my report, you've got the items referred to standing committee on strategic priorities, and that's coming up soon. That's great. And then I did submit my report, but I had a couple of things I wanted to add. I see Mr. Muscat in the room. So just for your information too, when I met with the Northwest Guide Outfitters last week, we did talk about airport. And so I provided the best update I could and also invited them to please share any challenges that they feel or suffer from with us as well, so that we're able to sort of gather those stories and make sure that we're able to communicate that back out to the carriers that we have. So just thought I'd let you know that. And a couple of things, it's been a while since we've done this at this table. Former Councillor Goodacre often did this, but I just wanted to acknowledge a few people have passed away. Recently, John Fisher passed away, and so I think this table will know him. John hasn't lived here all of his life, but he's been here for a while, and he was the father of Mark Fisher, who was a rural director with the Bulkley and Chaco Regional District. John was a former Reeve, which is like a mayor in Ontario. He was also a candidate for the Green Party. He was a very politically astute man for a long time, and anyone who met John for any length of time, and we heard the delegations at this table as well, looking for a change in how land is taxed in order to do a better job. So I just wanted to send condolences to his family and acknowledge the passing of John. Also, a longtime resident, Dawn Giddings, passed away at the age of 90. She's well known in this community, part of a big family. Her family is still here, former resident of the hospital, active in the outdoors, a real joy. And I remember her taking a canoe course years ago when she was afraid of water and still took the effort to wander into the water to try to overcome and be able to enjoy the outdoors. So condolences to her family. And lastly, Vera Const, who lived in Smithers for almost 50 years, part of the family that opened, for those that have been here a while, Winterland Ski. Very long time member, also with family here. So condolences as well to the family of Vera Const. And finally, on a more upbeat note, I wanted to offer congratulations to Ryan Law, who effective today has become the detachment commander for the Smithers RCMP. So he is now not our acting staff sergeant anymore. He is the staff sergeant for our detachment and the detachment commander. So congratulations, Detachment Commander Law. And that's it from me. Okay. I can keep following this bouncing ball. We are up to the 14s, I think. Okay. So first up, a report from Ms. McKinley on travel funds with a recommendation. Council. Councillor Raven moves the recommendation. Councillor Bucama seconds. Any discussion? Councillor Patterson.
Thank you, Mayor Attrell. So I just want to recognize in years past, members of council do go over a budget, but I just wanted to say that I didn't take this lightly. This was my first year actually attending multiple events. In my first year, I was, second year, I can't even remember anymore where I'm at, but I didn't have the opportunity to travel and attend as much events as I like to. And I think I grossly underestimated with the rising cost of everything, just how limited we are with the experiences that we have. So for example, to ensure that I don't go over budget this fiscal year, I'll actually only be attending 2 events. So I'm going to prioritize my learning and development. So that will be the Local Government Leadership Academy. And then of course, support unified advocacy by going to UBCM. But I was a bit astounded at looking at some of the conferences where the registration fees are almost $1,000. So again, I just wanted to apologize and that was a gross underestimation on my part. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Patterson. Any other comments? I'll just reiterate, it is a practice for council just to sort of go through things at the end of the year. Sorry, did I miss you, Councillor Elliott? My apologies.
No problem, Mayor. Just wanted to add to what Councillor Patterson said. I don't have a problem with sharing the wealth. It's good to have representation at all of these things. I think it's really important for us to show up there and when some of us can't. So I do appreciate Councillor Patterson going and representing there as well. And I have no problem sharing my budget for that.
Thanks, Councillor Elliott. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. Report 14.2 from Ms. Smith on the appointment of bylaw officer with the recommendation that we assign Catherine Reed, our new CSO, as a bylaw enforcement officer for the town. Councillor Bucama, Councillor Ray, any discussion? Councillor Raven.
Just a quick comment that it's going to be fantastic to have both of our seats filled, and happy she's on the team.
Thanks, Councillor Raven. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried unanimously. 14.3 from Mr. Lee, Foreman Character Development Permit Application for 1535 Main Street. With the recommendation, someone wants to put that on the floor? Councillor Raven, Councillor Elliott, discussion? Councillor Ray?
Trying to think of the right way to say this. The use of a motel, is it actually going to be motel, or is it going to be more like what it was being used for before, which was more of a long-term occupancy?
Mr. Allen?
Thank you, through Mayor Attrell to Councillor Ray. The application is for motel use, so, and it is 2-story, utilizing the, I don't think the proponent or owner has made the final decision yet on repurposing the existing building or starting from scratch, but they have determined that they would like to utilize the existing foundation, but the use is for motel.
Councillor Bucama?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy to see the existing building disappear. And I love the looks of the motel, if I was to be honest. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Bucama. Just a question, Mr. Allen, if you know, just based on what you said, if with the design that's here does utilize the current superstructure as it's referenced, if it turned out that it was demolished, is it your expectation we might see a different look? I mean, I don't know if you can project that, but.
Yeah, I think, no, the drawings that are part of the application are actually attached to the registered development permit. So it must be built to this form and character as per the permit, whether it's a renovation of the existing building or a brand new build.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'd be excited to see a new accommodation property in Smithers, and that's a great location for one, so thank you. Any other comments, Councillor Ray?
Just wanted to say, I think it'll be a great addition to Main Street, just because my question didn't really sound like that, but it will be a good addition.
Absolutely. Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. So skipping forward then to 14.5. Report from Ms. Chandran, Form and Character Development Permit for 3879 Alfred Avenue, the BC Housing Supportive Housing and Emergency Shelter. Recommendation with many points. So as you wish. Want to put it on in bits or you want to put it on all together? Someone lead us away. Councillor Patterson.
Thank you, Worship. I move them as a block.
Okay, is there a seconder? Councillor Bucama seconds. Okay, it's on the floor. Councillor Ray.
Just through the staff, and then I have like actual comment after my question too. Just, I know this sounds a little bit petty, but do you feel that them having to modify the design to include the planters is going to hold the project up in any way, shape, or form?
Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Mayor Attrell, to Councillor Ray. No, the staff have been in communication with Mr. Weldon, representing BC Housing, and the architect team. And the addition of the planters will not have any effect on the schedule or the form and character as you see it. It will be reflected in a separate landscaping drawing at a future date.
Thank you. I wasn't sure if it was the way I first read it. I thought it was gonna be attached to the building, but it can just be on the sidewalk as well. Okay. And I just want to make a comment, having attended the APC on number 2, the APC only considered the variance. So that is not in their scope to speak on the development permit. The one thing that they did ask that in the motion was that council recommend that they ask the proponent to face cameras to the bike storage, but seeing the building site and the camera plan, that's already in place. So and then the APC was in favor of the variances.
Thanks, Councilor Ray. Anyone else? All right. Councilor Ray.
Sorry, I did have one more comment, and that's along the offsite servicing incentive. I'm just very happy to see that after all our advocating and stuff, that BC Housing has heard that we require them to do the offsite works. So I'm glad to pay a bit towards that.
Thanks, Councilor Ray. I just have one, and it's a really slight comment, but just in the design, the drawings that we saw and the reference to the bike storage. So the bike storage is one thing, but I see that there's bike racks around there, and it just made me think of, so I'm just gonna put on the table for staff, that we probably ought to consider getting some more bike stands. We have those Bike Smithers ones. It'd be lovely to sort of carry on that design. So it doesn't necessarily affect this, but I was prompted. So I'm just sharing it before I forget about it again. That's it. Okay. Are you ready? All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried unanimously. Thanks. That was a lot of work. So thanks, Mr. Allen, to Ms. Chandran. That's a lot of work in that report. So thank you for that. And 14.6 from Chief DeVries, who is with us, report on the core review and master plan contract award with the recommendation. Councillor Buchanan moves. Councillor Raven seconds. Any discussion? Anything you wanted to add, Chief?
I just really appreciative to council for making this project a priority, and I think this will be a great guiding document going forward for the fire department for a long time.
Thanks, Chief. Councillor Ray.
I just wanted to thank staff for the scoring as well. It makes it a lot easier to support. You know, this wasn't the lowest bid, but it does make it's very well supported why the choice was made. And then knowing that it wasn't the lowest bid and still scored highest makes me impressed that it would have been a very good submission.
Thanks, Councillor Ray. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried unanimously. Okay, we are to the 16. So 16.1, we have bylaw 2000. Oh, let me catch up. For third reading, the public hearing was today. So for third reading, please. Councillor Raven, Councillor Elliott, thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. And then bylaw 2001 as well for third reading, please. Councillor Raven, Councillor Elliott, thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. And then we'll wait for ministry approval on those. And then 16.3 bylaw 2002. And this is going to be first, second, and third readings. And this is the reference that Councillor Ray made earlier to have the police no longer a voting member of the APC. Motion for first reading. Counselor Bucama, Counselor Patterson, all in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Second reading, please. Counselor Raven, Counselor Elliott, any discussion? Counselor Ray?
Yeah, just that, now Staff Sergeant Law did make the point that the RCMP is supposed to be impartial on all things. So this makes it good, or admit that makes that good, but it also retains their expertise on such things as SEPTED, et cetera. I did have a question for staff. And that is, if we left the membership at 9, so there weren't any ties, how would that affect quorum?
Mr. Schroeder or Mr. Allen?
Thank you very much, Mayor Attrell. It would not necessarily have a big impact on quorum. Quorum is still 50% plus 1, so that being 4.5, likely 5. So the quorum amount would still remain the same. In terms of making sure that individuals attend and we have good confirmation in advance. Those are just things that staff can work to do to make sure that we have individuals confirmed for the time. But Mr. Allen may have additional comments on quorum.
Mr. Allen is shaking his head no. Counselor Ray?
Yeah, I think that was also a bit of a burden on the RCMP member to be there for quorum because their daytime job isn't very predictable. So it'll probably be nice to have somebody that knows that they'll be able to make the majority of meetings. Nothing against the RCMP. I think their job's more important. So.
Okay, thanks, Counselor Ray. Okay, second reading, all in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. And third reading, please. Counselor Patterson, Counselor Bucama, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. Okay. And we are up to the correspondence under the 18s. Is there anything there that folks would like to pull out? Just call them out there for me. 18-1.
18-3, please.
18-3. And we also have the, don't forget, there was the supplemental 19-1, if anyone wanted that one. Okay, I'm not seeing anything, so you think of it, we'll add it in, but let's start with 18-1. Is that Councillor Bucama?
Thanks, Mayor Attrell. I just want to say I appreciated the letter by Shelley Worthington, especially her closing sentence. We believe that as we lead lives of compassion and justice, the poor must have priority, and we pray and dream for a community where everyone is given a chance at their best life. I just thought that was a beautiful closing sentence to that letter and should be highlighted. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Bucama. Appreciate that. Okay, and then 18-3, was that Councillor Ray?
Yes, Your Worship. I was just wondering if you would be attending in your role as NCLGA president.
Yep. Sure, that took me a second to think.
It just, we just voted on reallocating something and I noticed I went to one thing and I'd used up more than half of my, so when we go to things earlier in the year, it kind of really, it's good to know that you're going in another stead so that we have representation, but don't have to dig into the travel budget right away.
And Councillor Ray, that was just a webinar, so.
My bad.
Yep,
I
no,
missed the
that's
webinar
okay.
part.
I will be going because I think I'm supposed to, but anyone can come. Yeah, so it's an effort that NCLGA is making to share education opportunities. We had a commitment at the last AGM to be more active in providing information to member communities on issues that are deemed important. And so there is a webinar series. And so, yeah, in these cases, there is no charge. You just need to register and you can participate. But thanks for the question. Councillor Raven.
I will be virtually seeing you on the webinar then.
Great. Okay, anything else from the 18s or the supplemental? Then I think we're there. Council, a motion to adjourn is in order. Councillor Patterson, Councillor Bucama, all in favor? Any opposed? And we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.